What's up guys, it's Salvajee. So my purpose with this video is to tell you guys which faction has the best faction weapon, so that of course you guys can get basically a bang for your buck when it comes down to choosing your faction. This is of course totally based on my opinion. So yeah, I'm just letting you guys know. Hey look, a possible reward from New Monarchy is the Uriel's Gift auto rifle, that really OP auto rifle that is dominating the Crucible right now. Anyways, with that said, let's just get right into it, guys. Okay, so let's start with the Unification 7 or the Unification VII. This is a weapon that fires extremely slow. So I have no idea why it has full auto. Now, you can increase the fire rate with Assault Mag. I don't know how much it's going to increase, but anyways, the point is, this is a slug round shotgun. Basically, it fires very slowly. Now, that's what I don't like about this weapon. What I do like about this weapon is that it's very good in the Crucible, guys. As you guys can see, it has a really good impact, a really good range. This weapon completely tears apart opponents at almost medium ranges, if of course you're aiming down sight. So if you're a Crucible guy, you might want to consider getting this shotgun, and you might want to consider joining New Monarchy, just because again, this shotgun is a straight up beast. As you guys can see, you guys can also increase handling with Arrowhead Break. And of course, you can also add the flooded barrel for more stability, and of course the same handling that you get with Arrowhead Break. In my opinion, this shotgun is pretty good, but there are better shotguns out there. Okay, Royal, whatever that is. Okay, this is the SMG Grave Robber. Melee kills reload a portion of the magazine. This is of course pretty cool because of course SMGs are basically for close range, and you know, basically for just spraying down opponents at close range. It has high caliber rounds, which is going to help you out a lot in PvP, and of course it's going to help out, you know, when it comes down to making the enemy team flinch and all that stuff. You can also add steady rounds for of course some extra stability if you don't really want to fire from the hip too much. And then of course we have these two other perks right here, which just adds a little bit of range. What I like about this weapon is that it's pretty good for PvP, and what I don't like about this weapon is that it's not like the ideal PvE SMG. Like, I'd rather use a raid SMG, or I'd rather use the Mida mini tool, which has more bullets in the magazine and in my opinion is more effective. I've basically figured out that honestly New Monarchy is really good. It has some pretty good weapons when it comes down to PvP, which is why we're going to be taking a look at the Song of Justice. This weapon has LD Watchdog. Now, some of you guys don't know what LD Watchdog is, but LD Watchdog is a sight that lets you aim at enemies, and that sight will tell you if 1, they have their super, 2, if they have their melee, 3, if they have their grenade, and 4, if they are basically on critical health, or of course very low on health. LD Watchdog is one of the best sights, okay, in Destiny and Destiny 2. Now, I don't know if LD Watchdog does the same thing that it did in Destiny 1, but they haven't really fixed the sights. So if they haven't really fixed the sight, LD Watchdog is again one of the best sights. And basically, if you're a PvP player, you should just already join New Monarchy. Why? Because you're gonna get the bang for your buck when it comes down to, of course, PvP. Like I said, really good raid SMG, really good really good freaking SMG, really good shoddy, and again really good auto rifle, scout rifle. This scout rifle has armor piercing rounds, which is going to make the enemy flinch when you're shooting at them, and of course it also has extended mags, which of course increases the magazine. And on top of all that, it has cocoon. So basically, when you put the weapon back and then you take out like an SMG, for example, this weapon is basically going to, you know, reload itself, you know, when you have it away. Again, really good scout rifle for PvP, man. Now, what I like about this weapon is that of course it has LD Watchdog, it has high caliber rounds, and it has cocoon or auto reloading holster. What I don't like about this weapon is that it has a 12 bullet magazine, because of course, let's face it, armor piercing round is probably the way to go. Now, of course, let's take a look at Restoration VIII. So it has quick draw. You can draw it out pretty quickly. It has accurized rounds, which is, you know, pretty cool. It gives you increased range, and then it has a pendant mag, which increases the magazine. But honestly, what I like about this weapon is that, you know, it's a pretty good auto rifle for PvE, but for PvP, it's just not the best auto rifle. Like, there are way better auto rifle choices out there. Sure, you can increase the range, but you know, long range doesn't matter if your stability is bad, and the stability on this auto rifle is really bad. So with that said, new monarchy, 3 amazing PvP weapons. So if you're into PvP, you should probably join up with new monarchy. Anyways, now we're gonna make our way to Future War Cult, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on the Future War Cult weapons. So let's get right into that. Okay, boys, here I am in the Future War Cult headquarters. Let's take a look at this robot lady. Okay, lady. Okay, so we got the Eye of Foresight sniper. It has 4 bullets in the magazine. It has a pretty good impact, but rounds per minute is 90. Okay, in other words, it's gonna fire pretty slowly, but of course it does have some nice impact, and it has some pretty okay stability for a sniper. So is this thing worth it? Well, it has a faster reload when you're crouching, so this is of course pretty helpful if of course you're doing some DPS damage on of course raid bosses. It has steady rounds, which of course gives you some good stability, and of course it has alloy magazine, which basically gives you a faster reload when the magazine is empty, but of course at the cost of stability. Of course, it also has a short zoom, which if you like short zooms on sniper, it's pretty good. But quite honestly, what I like about this weapon, okay, is basically the field prep, which gives you the increased reload while you're crouching. But what I don't like about this weapon is that honestly, there are other snipers out there that just surpass it. So this is definitely a pass, and definitely -1 point for Future War Cult. But now we're gonna take a look at the Future War Cult freaking, what's this thing called? The Future War Cult Scout Rifle, okay? So we got Rampage. Kills with this weapon temporarily grant increased damage, and it stacks ×3. That's actually pretty good. And on top of that, this is a really good Scout Rifle that fires, you know, pretty quickly. So of course we have high caliber rounds. This is of course going to be really good for PvP. And of course we have flared magwell, which gives you the increased reload speed at the cost of range. And of course you also get some extra stability with that. What I like about this weapon, definitely like high caliber rounds because it's really good in PvP, and I also like Rampage because it's really good on PvE. Now, what I don't like about this weapon is that this scout rifle basically doesn't know if it wants to be a PvE scout or a PvP scout. So again, for me, this is a pass. Okay, now we're gonna be taking a look at the number auto rifle. This is a pretty good auto rifle. This sight right here, the Flash HHS5, is a really good sight. This is basically, I think it's the same sight that the Uriel's Gift has. But anyways, let's take a look at this bad boy. High impact reserve rounds at the end of the magazine deal more damage. Helpful for of course PvP, because sometimes that extra damage can be the difference between getting an elim and not getting an elim. And of course very helpful for of course damaging bosses. Extended magazine gives you an extended magazine, and as you guys can see right here, we have ricochet rounds, which basically rounds ricochet off hard purposes. Honestly, I've never heard someone in Destiny say, oh yeah, ricochet rounds was definitely helpful in this encounter. So what I like about this weapon is that it's an auto rifle. You know, it has pretty decent stability, pretty decent impact, pretty decent range. It's like kind of like a budget Future War Cult Uriel's Gift, I guess you could say. But honestly, again, you know, this is really just a pass for me because I don't really see a lot of benefits for it. You guys know what I mean? I mean, of course, it has high impact reserves, which again, it could be pretty good for PvP. But again, the weapon just doesn't really have a lot of features that, you know, sort of make me say, wow, I really want this weapon. Although, if you do want a budget Uriel's Gift, you could get the number auto rifle and you could join Future War Cult from it. But so far we got 2 weapons that are kind of a pass, and we got one that's sort of a pass. So I wouldn't really recommend going with Future War Cult unless of course you want to get their pulse, which is going to be like the reward. Anyways, we got the True Prophecy hand cannon. Okay, so this is the only reason, okay, why I actually joined Future War Cult on my Titan, as well as I like the Future War Cult pitch as well. But time payload, I really want this hand cannon, the True Prophecy hand cannon. Basically, you shoot someone and then you attach like a little explosive round to them, which explodes in a short delay. This is gonna be so much fun, okay, for PvP. Now, one thing that I do have to tell you guys is that this is a very slow firing hand cannon. Although it has high damage, and as you guys can see, it also has high recoil. But if you pace your shots with this hand cannon, this thing is going to be a beast in the Crucible. We got a pendant magazine, which of course increases the magazine size, and then we have alloy magazine, which basically increases the reload speed when the magazine is empty. What I like about this weapon, timed payload. Timed payload is going to be so much fun. What I don't like about this weapon is that the rounds per minute or the rate of fire, it's honestly really low. Oh, and by the way, I also like appended magazine and alloy magazine on this weapon, but the reload speed just honestly doesn't, you know, isn't the greatest thing for me as well. Honestly, I just want this hand cannon to test it out in the Crucible, but I still think if you have better devils, you don't really need True Prophecy, which is why, in my opinion, I don't think Future War Cult has the best bang for your buck faction weapons, which is why now we're going to be taking a look at Dead Orbits. Okay, so let's talk to this little dude right here.
So glad you have come.
Yep, okay. All right, let's inspect your stuff. Okay, so we got Dead Orbits. Gravity Slingshot. Okay, we got this shoddy right here. Field prep, basically you get a faster reload when you're crouching, and you have increased ammo reserves. In other words, you have more shotgun ammo in reserve. You also have accurized rounds, which increases the range. Pretty helpful for, of course, PvP. And you have tactical mag, okay, which increases the magazine, increases the stability, and increases the reload speed. Guys, this shotgun is not only very good for PvP, but on top of all that, well, it's not great for PvP, but it's really good for PvP, and it's really good for PvE. Okay, as you guys can see, you can even increase the range to, you know, make it better in PvP. But I really like this shotgun for PvE, just for the simple fact that it has field prep, and of course, also for the simple fact that it has tactical mag. What I don't like about this weapon, honestly, I just don't like how it looks. It looks very old-fashioned like, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But as you guys can see, a shader can just simply fix the look of this weapon, okay, specifically the rage shader. So that's a +1 for New Monarchy. A -1 for New Monarchy, in my opinion, is this sidearm. I just don't like sidearms in Destiny. It has rampage, which of course can be very powerful in PvP if you're like a good sidearm person. It has extended mag, faster reload when the magazine is empty, superb handling, move faster. This isn't really, I'm pretty sure this isn't a 3-round burst sidearm, and 3-round burst sidearm are currently the meta in the Crucible, so I'm gonna have to say this is a pass. But then again, I don't know anything about sidearms, so I might be talking shit. Okay, Dire Promise. This is basically a budget, old-fashioned triple tap, which can be helpful on PvE bosses, and steady rounds, which is of course very good because it gives you increased stability and of course range. And then of course you have a pendant magazine, which increases your range. So honestly, I have to say this is a pretty good hand cannon for PvP, even though you're not going to be landing your triple tap. But anyways, this hand cannon, as you guys can see, it has really good handling. Even the perk says it itself. It has really good impact, it has really good range, it has really good reload speed. Very good for PvP, and of course very good for PvE with appended mag, because of course you can increase the magazine to, I believe, 13 bullets or so. What I like about this hand cannon, everything that I just said. What I don't like about this hand cannon, honestly, nothing. Like, there really isn't nothing that I don't like about this hand cannon. This hand cannon is great. I'm a hand cannon guy. Yeah. Okay, the 3 Graves pulse rifle. Okay, we have Outlaw, which is of course very helpful in PvE. We have Extended Mag, which is of course very helpful in PvE. As you guys can see, this is a slow firing, but it's a high damaging pulse rifle. And of course we have Flared Magwell, which increases the reload speed even more at the cost of your magazine size. Basically, this is a really good pulse rifle for, of course, PvE. So, with that said, which faction has the best weapons? Guys, if you're trying to go for a PvE-centric experience, Dead Orbit is the way to go. If you're trying to go for a PvP/balanced PvE experience, New Monarchy is the way to go. Sadly, very sadly, Future War Cult is a pass. Unless, of course, you want the Future War Cult shader or the pulse rifle and all of that stuff. So, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys found it helpful. If you did, drop a like, subscribe to join the Salvajee cartel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.